Hey everybody, I'm Meredith Holly. I'm a lawyer and life coach, and I help employees create healthy work environments without losing their job, even if the work environment starts out toxic or harassing. I wanted to do a Healthy Workplace Wednesday for you today and talk about how to make fair pay. This is one of the most common issues that clients come to me with, and often they've been underpaid for years. And some of them don't even know about it until just before they come to me. I had someone come to me recently who had been underpaid for about probably 19 years before she found out. And she was the only woman in the only salaried woman employee in her job and the lowest paid, even though she had been there for a really long time. And when I hear stories like that, it is just never something I want to hear. I just find it to be awful. And I think that there are solutions to how to make fair pay, and often they're counterintuitive, and I think that there's a lot of bad information about it out there. So the first thing that I believe people have to do in order to make fair pay is talk about salary. We have to be willing to talk about money, and many of us are raised that that's unacceptable, or we're taught in the workplace that it's not okay. Some employers even prohibit people from talking about salary, and that's been shown to be a major contributor to unfair pay, like discriminatory unfair pay. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is talk about money, talk about your salary, find out about other people's salary, even if it's uncomfortable. And it doesn't have to be weird. You don't have to go up to somebody and say, tell me what you make in your salary. I've often done this for myself when I was not self-employed. What I did was I would go to colleagues and say, I know this is kind of a weird conversation, but would you be willing to share this with me if I share with you? I'm worried that we both might be in an unfair situation, and I want to make sure everybody has good information and that we know what fair salaries are. So the other way to research this, the other way to find out if what you're making is fair, is online. So websites like PayScale and Glassdoor have really good information. The one thing that is missing from the PayScale and Glassdoor information, though, is locality often. Like there's much more information about bigger cities on those websites, like San Francisco, New York, Chicago have good information. If you live in a smaller city, it's not as good of information. So sometimes talking to your colleagues, like to me, there's nothing that beats talking to your colleagues. If you work in an office that has transparent salary information, that's huge. If you're a manager, encourage your company to have transparent salary information so that you protect your company from employee dissatisfaction, even employees getting distracted by pay issues. So find out what a fair salary is for you to the best that you can. There's information somewhere about it, and you can do it. If you run into obstacles like being afraid to talk about salary, being afraid about like what people will think about you, or being like that it might be inappropriate, that's something to work on. Like get the support that you need to be able to talk about it. And then once you understand the information, treat it like just a math problem of how do you get this money. There's always a way to advocate for yourself. It doesn't have to be like angry. It also doesn't have to be super self-deprecating when you're arguing for a fair pay. It's really just a math problem that you're presenting to an employer. Like, look, this math doesn't work. If you can present it like that, you can get the employer onto your side and help them see how it will benefit them to have a fair environment. I've been to events where I've seen women encouraged that if an employer doesn't like you, you're less likely to make fair pay. And I hear this from my clients all the time. my boss needs to like me or I won't make a fair salary. I think this is a huge lie. And one of the reasons that I think we believe in this lie is that we think that the alternative is my boss hates me. There are so many alternatives in between my boss loves me and my boss hates me. One of them is my boss respects me because I always advocate for myself. There are just so many ways that the thought my boss needs to like me is going to disadvantage you. And you don't have to believe my boss should hate me in order to kind of let go of that. A lot of times we keep ourselves stuck in negative situations because we think people we don't respect need to like us. So those are sort of my two biggest tips. If you want to make a fair salary, if you want even to leave your job and have a fair severance, let me know. Talk to me. This is something that I work with people on all the time. Making fair pay is a huge component to having a culturally healthy workplace, and I would love to help. That's all I had to say. Send me a message if you have any questions. Love you guys.